If you're like me, you probably saw a very interesting CounterVine brew top tables in the recent Vintage Challenge. I'll give it a try so you don't get scammed. Welcome back, Vintage Gamers, to a Monday off-stream recording. I'm looking at a very interesting and innovative take on CounterVine here. It was recently played by, I believe it was Turn 1 Tinker to start, but I could be wrong. And then Karate Dom has followed it up with a top 8. This is a Dread Return Atraxa version of CounterVine. So what is different from the normal CounterVine? Well, you still have all your Root Wallas and your Vengevines and your Hollow ones. So you still have that shell intact. The permission suite is definitely different. We're looking at 2 negation, 2 subtlety, 4 force of will, no mind break trap. We've got Griefs, Poxwalkers, Cabal therapies. So we're leaning a little bit towards the black area, which is totally reasonable. Makes sense. Master of Death is also a black pitch spell. But we do have the Bridge from Belows to combo with these Poxwalkers and Cabal therapies and that kind of thing to fuel a ton of Dread Returns, 3 Dread Returns for Atraxa. It's a very interesting idea. It's probably something that hasn't been explored too much because Poxwalkers is functionally an MTGO reserveless card. This card was printed once during the Warhammer decks and will probably never be printed again. That's not a guarantee, but it seems very likely to me that you'll never see another printing of this card. So I believe it's around 100 tickets, something crazy. Might be the most expensive card in all of MTGO. One thing to look at here is that we have lost Force Squeeze, which I think is a big deal. The fact that you don't have Force Squeeze means you don't have the same recursion and power engine that you normally would, which makes me think that maybe you might want to like go heavier in the graveyard stuff and put like the Golgari Grave Troll and some, maybe the 4 Poxwalkers or something. But first, let's see how it plays out and before we make any kind of sweeping conclusions. But I am worried. The thing that stands out to me as the most worrying is that this deck does not have 4 Squee Goblin Nabob. That's the number one thing. So we'll check that as we go throughout the league. I have a sneaking suspicion that this deck is probably not going to be an upgrade on CounterVine. But I think we should do our due diligence and test it out and see how it plays out in a league before we make any conclusions like that. But hopefully by the end of this league, I'll have either saved you some tickets and some play points, or maybe I've sparked some innovation inside of the community to take this list and run with it. We'll see. I have not talked to Karate Dom about the lists, which he top 8'd with, and I don't usually talk to T1 Turn 1 Tinker, so I don't have any background on it. I don't even know if he felt like it was a good list. You know, one thing I preach on this channel all the time is you can absolutely 5-0 with, top 8 with, win an event with a bad deck of Magic cards. I've done it all the time. Some of my challenge victories are with some egregiously bad decks. Thinking back on the original Riddlesmith deck, that deck was just non-functioning. It didn't have the right numbers to function. But sometimes you can win anyways, and that's the joy and power of Magic and Vintage. So I will see you in round 1 of this Vintage League. Looking to win your own pieces of paper power? Join me at the Oklahoma Land Run July 17th through 20th, where you can find Reserve List Proxy Eternal Magic the Gathering. Friday, Team Trios, Legacy Modern and Vintage, followed by a Saturday Legacy main event for an Ancestral Recall and a Sunday Vintage event for a Mox Pearl. Can't make it to Oklahoma City? I'll be a special guest at the Steel City Spectacular August 14th through 17th in Pittsburgh. This CEDH main event will also feature a Legacy Battle for Duels and a Vintage Battle for a Black Lotus. 15 Proxy Vintage with a Black Lotus as the main prize. I hope to see you at these amazing Eternal Magic the Gathering events. Let's battle. All right, here we go. My hand is not of the Bazaar of Baghdad variety, so I will mulligan. This hand does not have a Bazaar, a Baghdad, so I will Serum Powder. I'm going to bottom. I'm on the draw. I'm going to try to save one of my therapies. I don't know if that's better than saving a Root Walla. I'll have to figure that out along the way here. Another powder. Another mulligan. Oh, why does it keep below the... Okay, no, mulligan. All right, we finally have a hand we can keep. We kept on 5. Opponent is also on 5 with us. Maybe we're playing a mirror. Maybe we're playing a Bazaar mirror at least. My opponent said, I'm sorry for my deck of choice, and then said, okay, I'm not sorry anymore if you're playing Bazaar. I'm going to keep this one, and I'm going to bottom the Serum Powder, which does nothing. One of the Dread Returns, which is unnecessary. It's not a bad hand by any means if I can find another spell to return this Vengevine. No permission, though. Workshop. All right. Interesting. Let's see what this finds for us here. Permission. All right. So I will get rid of the 3 things. And then we have a pretty hard question here of, do we want to try to return this Vengevine or get a hollow one going? I actually am going to hold here with my Permission Suite and... No. I don't know what kind of workshop this deck this is. I don't know. It feels like it's probably Jewel or Raker. But if it ends up being a workshop deck with a Wasteland, it's so bad not to play the hollow one. So I'm gonna play the hollow one. I don't know if that's correct or not in like the vacuum, but I'm too traumatized. Okay, it's Jewel. So I think it would have been better to not do that. I am going to try to hold this negation for a second counterspell payoff. They have force backup turn 2 Jewel, turn 2 Ring. I don't think we're beating that, but we'll see what we can do. I will draw a Root Walla. So now I still need to hit another hollow one or another Root Walla. I mean, I think I still need to go for it. Wait, why would I go for it, Justin? Doesn't make any sense. I should definitely have not activated there, but I did want to get my Master of Death, but because I don't know. Feels weird not to attack there, even though they are obviously protected, but maybe that was wrong too. The problem is they're going to draw a bajillion cards, and I only have one more counterspell. It's going to be a Metamorph on a hollow one to buy time. Oh, a Mystic Forge. Okay, well, I mean, it's just a nice and easy negation, and then we'll see what happens. I wonder... Saga... So I have a Master coming back, but... Yeah, I still want to go after the Master, because I can still draw, like, hollow one. Here's, like, a spot where it's really bad that I don't have 4 more squeeze, right? Because I just, like, can't make a consistent advantage, and maybe that's made up for by the fact that I have like the ability to do Dread Return Atraxa, but I need to not do this way. I need to do it this way. I almost lost it there, but I did get really lucky. Oh wait, I don't have another. I should have held this. I'm sorry, I'm playing really poorly, but I have to have a Dread Return. I don't know. I think I was supposed to hold the Root Walla so I could try to return the Vengevine on the next turn. I was trying to talk through it, like about the squee, but yeah. I think I played this game really poorly, but sometimes that happens when it's the first game of the day. That being said, my opponent should have 7 cards in hand, and they should be able to jewel kill us, but we'll see. Could just be a new ring. Buys a lot of time. So the problem right now is that what I was talking about is the Master of Death is not giving me card advantage. The Master of Death is giving me card parity here, because I'm drawing 2, discarding 2, theoretically. All right, so this is a hollow one. Oh no, a new ring. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense anyways. It blocks the same amount. Gives them a full turn. Rebuys a card. Ancestral in response to the trigger. Sure. Probably better to just Ancestral first before you play a Metamorph there. Because you could draw something that is better than Metamorphing a ring. Either way, I don't really know what my outs are. So, I don't think I was supposed to hold the first Root Walla because I needed to do the negation, right? But I could have held the first hollow one. And obviously I could have held this Root Walla. But I think at this point, this Root Walla might not matter. And getting into play might be pretty good if I can find like a Atraxa. But I do think that the biggest mistake I made in this game was this first hollow one, but it's tough. Like, I think you can reasonably conclude on a mull of 5 that if your opponent goes Workshop Go, that they're playing some kind of combo-oriented Workshop deck. Because there's just no feasible hand you're keeping out of, like, Reeker or like prison shops, well, that's Workshop Go. So I think that I need to make the assumption that my opponent is on Jewel and that I need to be able to return the Vengevine. Anyways, let's see what we can do here. Probe is an interesting one. I didn't realize that was in my deck. It's probably in my deck because it's a blue card that pitches. I do run the risk of like a mental misstep or something here, but I can't probe them because the freaking One Ring. Okay. I could probe myself to cycle. It gets me 1 card deeper, so yeah, I guess I'll do that. Here's the Atraxa. And they're currently under ring protection. So there's a Poxwalkers and a Vengevine and an Atraxa. So I get rid of Atraxa, Poxwalkers, Vengevine. I cast Dread Return, returning Poxwalkers, sacking my hollow one. Ugh. How am I going to get countered or even sink into Stupid, though? Oh, man. But I don't have permission. Don't I need permission? It's so brutal. My Atraxa could find me a Bazaar, and my Bazaar could find me things to return these Vengevines. Yeah. So if I had held my Root Walla, would that have helped me this turn? If I had held my Root Walla, would that have helped me here? I guess it wouldn't have changed very much. All right, I'm going to try to see if I can just make this happen. I kind of need extra nonsense here. Now I'm just getting synced. Yeah, it's kind of what I felt like was happening, but I wasn't really making any progress with my current board anyways. Yeah, I do think that this game, I might have been able to win this game if I had played slightly differently, but maybe the Vengevine doesn't even change anything because they would have played, so I would have lost 4 damage, right, from my first hollow one, and then I wouldn't have been able to get the Vengevine damage in. It's unclear. All right, so we got Volkid. Like I said, I do think I could have played this game slightly better, but it's not exactly clear that it would have made much of a difference. We are already super pre-boarded for this matchup, but we don't actually have like more negations or mind break traps to bring in. So I would assume that this version of the deck is actually weaker versus combo than the traditional version of CounterVine. And then you're probably gaining edges against things like Sphere Shops and Mono White, maybe, by having the Atraxa stuff going on. That's my guess. To Do you bring in Vigor against Jewel? I don't really know if that's a thing you do or not. I mean, I can't take out blue cards, right? I need forces to beat Jewel, and I have 2, 6, 10, 12, 16 blue cards. That's so crazy. I mean, maybe I'm just relying on going extremely hard with Dread Return stuff, but you don't even have, like, Golgari Grave Troll and Dredges to do that. So maybe I can swap out these Noxious for some Force of Vigors, and then... I mean, I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm allowed to take out any blue cards if I want to be casting Force, and that's really stupid because like this subtlety doesn't hit anything besides Metamorph. Like, why can't these subtleties just be more negations? I don't know. I'm gonna bring in 2 Vigors then, I guess. I don't want to be very negative about the deck. I want to be unbiased and get the good testing data in. However, I have, you know, 15 years of Magic experience. I just can't just shove that away and say it doesn't exist. I see things and I make my analysis of them, and then we'll just see if my analysis is correct, you know? All right, I'm going to lose this powder and this vigor I can't use and this thing. And then I'll have double interaction hollow one, and hopefully that'll be enough. I mean, this is a nice 4-turn clock, so... All right, I got Force out of their hand with Grief. I've got a hollow one and a Force. So let's see what happens. I actually don't think this needle matters because I have my 5 power and I have my counter spell. I'm going to play my Delver of Secrets game and see if we can't get there. I'm going to see if I can ride these Delvers to victory here. Wormcoil. Okay. So I guess I need to bring in all my vigors. That makes sense. They have follow-up. The One Ring. All right. 2 Ancient Tombs. They can use them right now while they have protection. No. Probe. Can't probe my opponent. I still probe myself. Oh, can't do anything about that. All right, they go to 6. They go to... All right, so an attack here wins if they have nothing. Oh, another key activation. They need to probably find another One Ring, I would assume. Or maybe like Blue Land PO. I guess a Wormcoil still does it as well. Here's a new One Ring. Oh, they found a Tolarian Academy. I believe that means I'm going to lose. Don't want to attack there in case they do have like a Hull Breacher or something. All right, another ring activation. Saga. Another blue. All I need is a PO here. We can untap and draw a ring again. New ring is good as well. I mean, I had double interaction, right? I had Grief that got forced. I had Force that forced a One Ring. Oh, sorry, I had Force that forced a Wormcoil, and then they had a ring follow-up. Wow, they just bricked. That's pretty crazy. That's really crazy. I think that's unlucky. So I need to bring in these extra vigors for sure. Maybe on the draw I take out some griefs, but I feel like I shouldn't take out griefs because I need all the interaction I can get. I'll take out Chalice on the draw here. And maybe I'll take out one of the Bridge from Belows. Maybe I'll take out one of the Dread Returns. Bridge from Below can at least, like, make a clock, maybe. All right, I'm gonna mulligan. Man. What do I mulligan here? Do I keep the negation? I'm losing 2 of my blue cards. I'm gonna powder here. No matter what, I lose 2 blue cards. I probably lose a hollow one. I mean, I think I'm supposed to keep negation on the draw, right? I feel like I can't mulligan and win this matchup, though. All right. Grief is pretty bad against the One Ring on turn 1 as well. This deck, I mean, it's pretty good that we get to start by playing against Jewel, because Jewel, I think, highlights the matchup that you are sacrificing to change your deck like this. Because I think it's very clear that you're gaining some things and losing some things whenever you make a deck building change. And from what I can tell, if I had to guess, you are losing percentages in your combo matchups and gaining percentages in your non-combo matchups. We got Island Ancestral from our Jewel opponent. Another Grief. So whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand. So I can return this Poxwalkers by root wallowing. So I think I start with a Bazaar activation. Also, I guess Grief can trigger Vengevine if we were to hit Vengevine. I might save a Root Walla so that I can have another Poxwalker's return. Oh, I mean, why do I need another Poxwalker return unless I draw Therapy? And that would return it itself. So I should probably just use the Dread Return to pitch to Grief. This gives me 5 power, which is pretty cool. All right. I do think Poxwalkers is a really strong card. Its play patterns are a little interesting, but it's strong. And so I'll have a Strip Mine, and maybe this Grief can get me there, but probably not. Like, this is not a lot of interaction in the grand scheme of things. Outcome, Workshop, Trinisphere, Metamorph, and Key. If I take Metamorph, they are far from, they're still in mana from POing. Obviously, we don't get to cast any more spells for the rest of the game, but we do have 5 power already. I'm going to take Metamorph and leave them with this stuff and hope they don't draw out of it, I think. I don't really feel like my chances are that good if I take one of these other cards, like Trinisphere. They play Trinisphere here. Yeah. They play it off of Island, which is protecting their Workshop. I can still return Vengevines later. So I could still hold the Strip Mine. Oh, I can't return Vengevines later because I can't cast anything. So now it's just the Strip Mine is my last piece of interaction, right? I don't have anything else. Just like bridges can go in my yard. I immediately hit Vengevine, huh? But I can't ever return it, so. Am I strip mining? Anyways. Yeah, I feel like I kind of have to. I don't think this is enough. Maybe I need to take Trinisphere. I don't know. This is 3 attacks to win. We could get there. They could easily not have the requisite cards to combo off from here. Ancient Tomb, they drew a 1-ring. Oh, PO for 2, sure. I did not expect that, but I guess that means that we could theoretically counter something now. But, all right. Workshop and 3 unknowns. I do get this back. Kind of makes me wish I had that grief back. But I did hold, ooh. I did hold my Root Walla. If I return a Vengevine here, they go to 1 and they can't use their Ancient Tomb. But is that enough? Either way, I'm probably supposed to activate Bridge Force. I think I'd rather have a Force of Will than a Vigor. So I guess we go... I mean, this definitely shows that we have a Force. But I'm a 2 attacks now because of this Ancient Tomb, so... I think this Force might get me there. Maybe we have just enough action. That's pretty crazy. I don't think I would have guessed that. Wow, we got there. Yeah, I could really feel, I could feel the difference in my interaction sweep. But maybe the matchup's still okay enough that doesn't matter too much. I do think the 1-ring from Jewel makes this, and even like things like Wormcoil Engine can make this matchup pretty challenging sometimes, especially post-forward, but we got there. See you in round 2. All right, we're back for round 2. Let's see how it goes. We have not been able to return an Atraxa yet, though we did try. The Poxwalkers, I feel like it was the most promising thing we saw from game 1, but it is a little interesting that we have, like the numbers here are kind of interesting, right? 4 Bridge from Below, 3 Therapy, 2 Poxwalkers. I don't know how much that makes sense, but something to keep an eye on throughout the day. I know it's hard to get 4 Poxwalkers. It's very expensive. But I do think that actually has been somewhat of a problem. I do think people have been experimenting less with Poxwalkers than they should because of the price tag. I think that's a non-zero part of the equation. We're looking at currently 88 tickets for a single Poxwalker. That's got to be up there. I feel like it's a little bit less than a Lotus right now, but pretty close. I kind of want to see. Collection tracker. Oh, I don't know how much a normal Lotus is. Well, Poxwalkers is worth more than Force of Will, Old Border Force of Will. It's worth more than Old Frame Mox Emerald. It's worth the same as Old Frame Time Walk. Let me just check out Black Lotus. It is almost 3 times as much as a normal Black Lotus. So, yeah. MTGO reserve list. All right, let's powder this away. Let's powder this away. And let's mulligan. And let's powder this away. Wow, how much cards am I going to lose here? What have I lost? I've lost a Force of Will, a Negation, a 2 Bridges. Powder. What do I want to keep from this? Hollow one. Atraxa. My gut instinct says hollow one. Another mulligan. Another mulligan. Keep. And this is turn 1 Vengevine. All right. Black Lotus. Trinisphere. All right. You got me. I want to see what the rest of the deck is first. I want to see if it's Jewel or whatever it is. I just need to see what kind of deck they are. I don't know. This is like the kind of thing where, you know, you want to have 4 Force of Will, 4 Negation in your deck. We're gonna mill me out. Okay. you have to play things at some point, right? Because you're gonna have to discard the hand size. Okay, so it's Raker Shops. That's good enough. Well, it could still be Jewel. Could still be could still be either. That's could still be either. All right, Jewel. Great. I really wanted to know. I think it's important. That being said, I think we kind of know the answer here. The Vigors are coming in, and the Noxiouses are coming out, and then I have to pick 2 more cards. I'm going to take a 1 Bridge and 1 Dread Return. Try that. All right. There's been a spike in Jewel after a couple of recent, top finishes. I don't know if it had a good weekend in total. Let's take a peek while we wait here, because what else are we doing? Yeah, so Jewel had a good weekend. Jewel was a 6.5% meta share with a 53% win rate. Pretty reasonable. One of the better performers for the weekend. The 5th most played deck, and then among the high played decks, maybe the third or so highest win rate, maybe 4th, depending on how you look at it. All right, on the play. Here we go. I don't have to mulligan everything. Let's keep this one. I'm probably not giving the Griefs enough credit in terms of returning Vengevines. This deck should be pretty good at returning Vengevines, right? Like, you still have the same Hollow One Root Wallows, but you also have some Griefs that you're not afraid to like fire off. So this deck might be a little bit better at putting Vengevines into play as well. We got to make sure we look at all the angles. I like Bin. Do I like a second Bazaar? No. I think the second Bazaar is going to go. I don't have enough Master of Deaths to utilize 2 Bazaars, and they're not going to be attacking my Bazaar. So I would rather just get an extra Grief interaction. So I got my Grief here. Lotus Ancestral Defense Grid Tinker Bauble. All right, well, hold on. God damn it. I guess I take Ancestral. I could take Black Lotus. That prevents them from tinkering or ancestraling until they find a blue source. I will eventually get bobbled here, though. All right, I will take Black Lotus. They're just gonna draw Sapphire, right? Oh, they led with Vexing Bobble. I think that's actually really good for me, because now I can just force the Vexing Bobble. They drew Soul Ring. And okay. I would definitely have gone Defense Grid into Bobble here. But I'm okay with this. I'm not casting anything on their turn anymore, but I can still cast things on my turn. So I want to activate Bazaar now, because I won't be able to Root Walla on their turn. Yeah. Okay, now I'm tuning in. If I had done this on the other turn, it would have been a problem. But now I got Root Wallas. All right. See what they draw. They draw a blue source. They probably win. But it's Jewel. How many blue sources can they possibly have? 2? 3? Who knows? All right. We got a win there. Now on the draw. I wonder if you're supposed to take out Griefs on the draw. I think I'm still supposed to keep it. I think you need as much interaction as possible. Like, you saw the opponent's hand, right? Like, you got to have some interaction. This has got some interaction, but it doesn't have a Bazaar Baghdad, so let's powder this. It's kind of a rough powder. We lost like 2 of our 4 masters. Other powder. Do I keep a force or do I keep a master? I'm gonna try keeping a master. Another powder, losing 2 more forces. Another mulligan. Wow. All right. Here's my keep. Subtlety, probe. I feel like our bridges are so bad, though. I think I'll go with subtlety, bridge, and then keep a probe. Try to get through. I don't know. This is bad. I'm not beating a 7-card jewel hand with no counter magic. The fact that we have no mind break traps, 2 negations, it just doesn't feel right, you know? I'm used to all of these CounterVine reps. I actually played CounterVine quite a lot. Nothing feels right. Cage. Soul Ring. Monolith. The One Ring. Yeah. I mean, it's bad for me. Like, if I had a trap in this hand, I actually feel really good about our chances. That's a lot of Vengevines. This actually returns all the Vengevines, right? I have to lose my grief to do it. Is it worth it? Well, not all my Vengevines, because I did pitch 1 Vengevine to Vigor, but... I mean, I feel like I have to put them in play. I feel like waiting doesn't make any sense, right? Like, when's the next opportunity to have double spell? I think I'm dead, but that's okay. At least I have 9 power. Maybe they miss on their draws again. Worm Coil. Yeah, that's not missing on their draws, but I also can't prevent that, so... Upkeep, activate, throw some cards in the yard, draw for turn. Yeah, I don't think I'm beating that. Yeah, I am a hater. I think that's just my nature. All right. I don't think I'm ever beating this. I think that's fine to concede from here. All right, let's give it another try here. We got a Lurrus this time. Maybe that'll change things. We'll be a little bit more grindy. Maybe. I don't know. They also have more things that attack my yard, right? Well, I immediately get to powder away parts of my stiff and my things. I'll let them know to find a wasteland if they have one. But I have not been having a lot of luck finding opening Bazaar on 7. So I would like to keep my second Atraxa, but actually, yeah. So I'll still have a Dread Return. Yeah, okay. I'll keep this Atraxa. Man, Mulligan. All right, keep on what? 5. Not a bad keep on 5. We've got a negation if they're on combo. Which 2 do I want to put away? I actually think it's the Atraxa. And so the Rootwaller returns the Poxwalkers, but I think I'd rather have access to the double master grind here. Okay, they have a wasteland. That's like, ow. All right. So my opponent has led Wasteland, Soul Guide Lantern. That is bad for me. I will try negating this, I guess. Oh, I did not get Soul Guide Lantern, so that's a positive. The negative here is I need another Bazaar of Baghdad. Okay. Show me your secrets. Fatal Push, Bowmaster, Negation, Dig Through Time. All right, that's bad. I don't have a Noxious, I don't have a Bazaar, so... But my opponent also doesn't have any other plays, so that's something for us. That is kind of the downside of powdering our opening hand. I don't think you're supposed to mulligan instead of powder, but maybe there's an upside there. Usually the answer to that question is always no, but certainly let my opponent keep a nonsense hand here. But doesn't mean we've lost. No lands for my opponent so far. No lands for me either, but maybe not the same. So if I had kept my original Root Walla, noting if I had kept my original Root Walla, I would have had a Poxwalkers this entire time, which is actually a really big deal. So maybe a mistake from me. Absolutely, it's possible that that was a mistake. If I had kept my original Root Walla, I'd have a Poxwalkers. I would have gotten at least, what, 9 damage in? They kept the card on top. Surveil Land wins again. Another Wasteland. So now they have Bowmaster. Bowmaster is very good against Poxwalkers, though. So what is my best way forward from here if I don't draw things? Like, what is my best pitch? I think my best pitch is a turn of Master so that... I don't think I can force this because I think I need to be pitching cards to hand size here. I think I want to pitch a Master so that I can go for a double pitch at some point here. Ah, we really drew Ancestral, though? I feel like I have to mental misstep that. I feel like that's too much. But it does... I guess I have a Master coming back, so I'm not so far behind. But it does cost me life to do Master. Root Walla. Okay, so now... when I'm almost to the point where I can return these Vengevine. I need to do like 2 turns, though. This is another Bowmaster. Oh, a DT. Ugh. I don't have any other blue cards anyways right now. What you happy? Yeah, I think I'm dead. I wonder what this game would have been like if I don't think I would have gotten enough attacks in with my Root Walla. I mean, I would have had Root Walla, Poxwalkers, 4 damage, 12 damage. It's probably short, but... I'm putting up a pretty good fight for my opponent having opened Wasteland Soul Guide Lantern in game 1. Doesn't look like I'm putting up a good fight, but I think I am. Lotus. I see. I drew Bazaar. I do think I have to activate it here into this Bowmaster. So I can pitch Vengevine, double Root Walla, bring back Vengevine, bring back Poxwalkers. Is that even good? Who cares? Okay, so I don't have to pitch double Vengevine anymore because I have Grief. So I can go Vengevine, Bridge, Root Walla. Maybe they could kill their own Bowmaster to trigger, get rid of the Vine. Cast this. Turn Poxwalkers. See, like, my graveyard is not full either. I don't know, like, I like the idea if you're trying to do this, like, maybe play 1 Golgari Grave Troll. It's allowable. I guess I'm going to pitch the Dread Return. This is going to return a Vengevine. It's going to get forced. Pitching Negation. Do I force back? I mean, they can still just Fatal Push my Vengevine. I go to 5. Sure, I'll force back. We know that they have Push Dig. They have another negation? Ah, I see. Okay, so I don't get a Grief, but I get a Vengevine, and I don't get a Bridge from Below. And then I can't attack. I could attack. Oh, I get Fatal Push and die. I guess I can't attack. Well, I have a bridge, so maybe I could. But I'm getting re-wastelanded, and I have no more gas. So, all right, Vengevine got Fatal Push. I get a bridge from below. This attack, I can double block. I get another bridge from below. Oh, the token counts? Ooh, I'm glad I ordered that in the right way. Whoops. I thought the token didn't count. Oh, maybe it took. Okay, I will attack for 5. They drew a fetch land. That's pretty bad for me, I think. Another Bowmaster is lights out. A Frog is also lights out. Okay. That was a pretty hard-fought game for how badly it went. So I'm actually not too unhappy there. I don't really know what I'm supposed to bring in. Noxious Revivals for Wastelands. Are we supposed to be bringing in Sickening? I mean, forces are pretty bad, right? I think taking all these forces out makes sense to me. If I bring in, like, Sickening Shoal, Wasteland, and a Vigor. Let's try this. It's kind of how I like to board with my other decks against this, but maybe I need to keep in forces for like Soul Guide Lanterns. I'm not really sure. This hand doesn't work. This hand doesn't work. I haven't kept any 7s. That has definitely dampened our results. This deck definitely wants to keep as many 7s as possible, even more so than a normal deck where every deck wants to keep 7, but this deck really wants to keep 7. 2 Root Wallas, a Vengevine, and an Atraxa. I'm gonna keep a Vine, I guess. I don't know how easy it is my Vine will be to return. Another mulligan, a 5. I feel like we're averaging a 5 after powdering multiple times. All right, I'm gonna go aggressive here, see what we can get done. I do need to find a Root Walla, or maybe... I feel like it has to be a Root Walla, doesn't it? But even if it's a Root Walla, I guess I could... I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's see what we draw before I... Noxious. Okay, I drew Therapy, but I have nothing to Therapy right now. So I think I should just... Oh, man, griefing my opponent feels awful. But I probably have to, right? I could keep the Therapy and use 1 Poxwalker. I mean, it feels bad because I don't want to lose my Vengevine, but I feel like I can't let them have a Soul Guide Lantern. But is pitching Therapy to grief the right call, or is pitching a Poxwalkers to grief the right call? I guess the answer should be a Poxwalkers. So I will go Poxwalkers, Vengevine, Therapy to the yard, grief my opponent to protect from Soul Guide Lantern, and not Revival will protect from Wasteland. Saga Gaming. So they have Saga Soul Guide Lantern here. So yeah, Saga Tormod script. All right, well. I am sad. I don't think I'm putting any of these back on top, so it's an instant hit on my yard. I don't think I would do the instant hit on my yard. I would probably try for something a little bit more. Oh, that's not bad. That might be a great one, honestly. Master keeps going. Wasteland deals with Saga. That was not bad. Okay. Don't call it a comeback. They have no follow-up. They were Saga Gaming, so now we get to bring back Master. Bridge. Activate. Vengevine. Now we're protected from a Wasteland. Okay, wait. Do you guys need this up here? Oh, I can bring this up here. Kind of matters a little bit more than normal. Normal CounterVine, I should say. Okay, they drew the Wasteland. I want Noxious now to play around anything. Let's put this Bazaar back on the top of my library. My third Noxious Revival. Oh, they drew a Misstep. All right, that's not good. So now what? Misstep, huh? All right, now I'm in trouble. Now I probably have the natural draw another Bazaar. Sickening Shoal. All right, passing back and forth. I thought I was in a good spot considering I had my third Noxious there, but it didn't work out. Rootwalla. Drew another Wasteland. Doesn't let them cast like frogs, though. We drew a Grief. Grief could return Vengevine if I have another Grief, maybe. Or if I do an end step. So if I pitch a Master of Death, one turn, and then maybe I can still have enough cards to Grief and then pitch a Rootwalla to hand size. Seems unlikely, though. Seems unlikely. I'm also kind of in trouble if they find like another Crypt or Lantern. I can't really cast spells. Pitching to hand size, a Fatal Push. There's another Noxious. Somehow, I don't think this is going to resolve, though. I wonder if it's even worth casting. I mean, getting a single Bazaar activation is really strong. I just don't know. I mean, they would have to have Force of Will. They'd only have 2 left. I think it's worth it. Because we definitely get to Vengevine, right? Man, they had a Force. So, like, because they have 2 Force of Wills gone and Misstep gone, it's kind of unlikely that they had another Force. It is unfortunate for me, though. All right. That did lose me a whole turn on getting towards my Master into the yard, so I might lose the game off that play. I don't know. Yixid Jailer. All right. Well, I have to kill that one. Thankfully, it's probably resolves. No way they had the 4th Force, right? They could have days, I guess. But now I'm super far from pitching to hand size. I wonder if that Noxious Revival was a misplay. But I guess if they were going to play Jailer on the following turn anyways, then I would have still been in a similar spot because I would have to cast a pitch spell. Now they can just buy Lurrus, probably. Or a Frog, sure. I'm not really in a position to beat that. Kind of needed to draw the natural Bazaar. 3 and 32. Even then, I might be too late. Anemic. Buying Lurrus. Leaving open wasteland. Strip mine. I think I just pitch one master to hand size here. See if we can set up a turn on the next turn. Where I can pitch 2 Root Wallows and bring back a Vengevine at least. But I'm going to be really low. I mean, they could just pitch their whole hand here. What is that? Oh, it's a Fatal Push. Let's see. I would probably start pitching some cards. Oh, I guess they have Lurrus Jailer, right? Okay, that's fine. We can concede then. Yeah, that was brutal. All right, here we go again. This time up against Reprint Dark Ritual. Maybe Lurrus PO. I have finally opened a 7-card Bizarre hand. It does contain 3 powders, so it's like a 5-card Bizarre hand. But I guess I can't complain, right? I asked for a 7-card keep, and I have a 7-card keep. What more could a guy want? I can't even pitch these stupid cards, because I probably have to pitch my graveyard-based cards. Excuse me. Ooh, just smacking everything around. So far, I can't say I've been impressed by anything going on here. But the matchup spread has been a little odd, so... And I think we have hit probably a lower section of variance. We haven't kept very many hands that had a lot of action, so we haven't been able to do things like Atraxa. All right, I will tap my Bazaar of Baghdad, see what we find. My opponent was not expecting me to tap my Bazaar of Baghdad. Who are you? Okay. I found a force. I'm going to go Master to the yard, Vengevine to the yard, and Therapy to the yard. All are my graveyard-based cards. I'm going to hold the Root Wall to try to return this Vengevine later. Hopefully this force gets us through, and my opponent is in fact on Lurrus combo and not Tempo Frog stuff. Obviously, we're stranded here with a bunch of powders that we still don't want, but what are we gonna do? Not mulligan, tell you that much. Oh, that is a bad sign. That is a very bad sign. That's a basic swamp, basic island. That's a Bowmaster. It's a Time Walk. I'm gonna negate it. Basic swamp, basic island lends me to think they're playing blue-black Lurrus control. I got dazed. Mother. Okay. Well, that puts them back at the same place as before, and they don't have a free counter spell, so maybe I'm happy. I don't know. I'm not really happy if I get Bowmastered here, I can tell you that much. I'm not happy if I get Wastelanded here. Yeah, I am having a bad time. I'm having a very bad time. I'm getting... This is... Lurrus Tempo Frog is the reason that... One of the reasons that CounterVine has fallen off. It's certainly abysmal matchup. And Jewel, while normally a pretty reasonable matchup for CounterVine, this deck definitely feels worse against Jewel. Now I don't even have a counterspell for this frog. Yeah. Man, this was an abysmal league. I guess it's not over yet, but it feels like it's over. All right, I'm going to concede this game. I'm going to do the same thing as last time. Feels correct to me to do this. Wait, how did I do this last time? I feel like Chalice is not even good. Especially against blue-black. What was the other card I was taking out? Maybe I wasn't boarding in all the vigors. I don't know. That was a brutal showing. And yeah, I mean, you don't want to see Wasteland, Orcish Bowmaster, main deck Soul Guide Lantern, the works. It is certainly the place where you don't want to be. And then even the Jewel matchup, like, I actually kind of want to go look. We don't have a lot to think about during these sideboarding, so I might as well go experiment with the matchup graphs. My whole merge sheet is broken, so that's not good. Here we go. We're looking at Bazaar, and we're looking at CounterVine, and I'm looking at... There's not a lot of data, so the confidence intervals are extremely high, but still has Jewel Shops as slightly favored right now. There is a what is that? It's a 16% confidence interval, 12% confidence interval. That is not very reliable data. Let me look at the pre-saga data for CounterVine. I'm very interested. So I go into my saga archive here, and I check out matchup graphs, and I check out Bazaar, and I check out CounterVine. Was it not called CounterVine? It's called CounterVine. Only a 51% win rate against Jewel Shops. Okay, so it's just like not that favorable, and I think we made our deck worse against it. So I think we played against 4 unfavorable matchups, possibly. Oh, here we go. A 7-card keep. I'm in. A 7-card keep. Look at all my lizards. I'm running the zoo. My menagerie. Do lizards count as being part of a menagerie? Menagerie? A collection of wild animals. Okay, so yes. I thought maybe menagerie was more focused on certain types of animals, but I think it's more about the animals being exotic. I don't really think you would typically include lizards in your menagerie. An old school traveling menagerie in New York, in New England, had an elephant, a rhinoceros, a camel, 2 tigers, a polar bear, several parrots, and a monkey. What kind of animals are in the menagerie? Historically, lions, tigers, bears, oh my. Yes, great. Modern menageries might include a wider range of animals such as kangaroos, zebras, various reptiles, and amphibians. Alligators, snakes, frogs have been part of menageries. Okay. I have a lizard menagerie. Get over it. My opponent's on a mold of 5. Maybe we will win a game. Let's try. I play my Bazaar. I activate my Bazaar, and then I say Master to the Yard, 2 flaming red Rootwallas. I think I'd rather have things in play in case I lose my Bazaar. I don't have a Noxious Revival. I don't have a second Bazaar. I have Force and Sickening Shoal up. That is another nice thing about Atraxa, I should note. That Atraxa pitches to Force of Will, Force of Negation, Force of Vigor, Subtlety, Grief, Sickening Shoal, everything. Not Fury, but we don't have Fury, so. Mox Pearl resolves. And Soul Guide Lantern would be annoying because it takes our master, but we could at least immediately remove it. Bowmaster is a problem, though. I guess not, but we have Sickening Shoal. I might try to play around Bowmaster here. But now I want to play a hollow one. Okay, I will lead with an attack. And then I will still activate post-combat because I do think playing a hollow one is important here. So even if they do have the Bowmaster, well, they don't have the Bowmaster. In that case, let's put Master to the yard, Powder to the yard, and Rootwalla to play, leaving me with Mental Misstep, Sickening Shoal, multiple Force of Vigor options, and a Noxious. Yeah, looks pretty good to me. Thought for sure we were getting Bowmastered, but didn't happen. Let's finish our menagerie here. Do we include golems in the menagerie? That is a question that I think the answer is actually going to be yes, because, you know, historically, menageries had mythical beasts in quotation marks. They would, you know, dress up an exotic animal to be, you know, mythical creature. I don't know, unicorn. Put a steak on a horse. Griffin. Put some wings on a horse. Wait, no, that's a bird. Damn. I'm getting consigned to memory. Okay. I didn't expect that. Interesting. I'll allow it. Anyways, what I'm saying is, I think a golem can reasonably be considered a mythical creature and thus reasonably considered part of the menagerie. Please type in the comments if you agree or disagree about the menagerie. This is the most important part of the video. Please sound off. Okay, I'm going to bring back my Master of Death. They didn't buy Lurrus. I have a Dread return now. So let's roll with the attack again. Is this going to be our first Dread return? And then this time, I think I want to play around Bowmaster again. Because if I activate and I pitch... No, I kind of want a Dread return this turn. I mean, do I really want a Dread return? I can't protect it. And I lose all my Rootwallas. I have no bridges. I'm going to pass. I think on the upkeep, I'll activate. Okay, so let's put Vengevine into the yard, Dread Return into the yard, and Master into the yard. I can still Sickening Shoal. Okay. They didn't buy Lurrus, and they held everything up. Are they holding up like another I got Tabernacled! I brought in my Wasteland, right? I did. Okay. I guess if my Atraxa got Tabernacled, I would be more upset. So I guess it's fine. Wish we had more squeeze. That's what I want. I think it's what is the right word? I don't know. Put Squee in your deck. Squee is the card that makes this deck work, in my opinion. Having 4 Squee, 4 Master is the key. All right, anyways, let's activate this Bazaar. Another hollow one. I can return a Vengevine with another card, but I don't have another card at the moment. I'm going to go second Bazaar and activate. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's get an Atraxa in the yard. A Rootwalla. I think I'm down to hit my opponent for 4 with the hollow one root. What am I pitching here, though? I guess I don't need a Noxious at this point. I think hitting for 4 is correct. Well, is it? I wish I had a bridge from below. Wait, do I wish I had a bridge from below? I feel like I would maybe get to Dread Return. Oh, I could Dread Return. Is the Vengevine worth... Maybe I'm getting consigned again. Let's be real here. They haven't bought Lurrus. So I can attack and Dread Return. I mean, that's pretty sick. That actually is really nice. Being able to get the Vengevine hit in that I was going to probably do anyways, and then still get an attempt to Dread Return this Atraxa. All right, they got a force out of their hand, pitching Lorien. So they only have one card remaining. They can still have Lurrus. I do have an answer to Lurrus at the moment. We have one master going here. Let's make this bigger. All right, they have a bajillion mana. So they probably buy Lurrus this turn. We could grief the Lurrus if we find a grief. It's actually really strong. All right, Swamp. Buy Lurrus, I assume. Oh, hard cast Leyline. I see. Do I need to remove that? Yeah, I need the master to keep going, so I will pitch the Atraxa and remove this. I will have to find another black card for my Lurrus. Cabal Therapy. That does not actually kill Lurrus, which is kind of funny. Let's activate. Here's a bridge. Master, bridge, and therapy. This does kill Lurrus. All right, I'm not going to activate again. I'm going to keep my removal spell up, keep my mental misstep up. I'm not, like, I don't have multiple Master of Deaths. They're still not... Oh, they don't... Justin, you're an idiot. Obviously, they don't have Lurrus because they have Leyline. I'm so silly, man. Oh, my God. I'm so silly. Sorry. Okay. All right, well, I think I still want these cards to be in my hand for like a frog. 2 masters. Or like a bowmaster off the top. Master. Noxious. Is there anything worth noxiousing? I could noxious back a hollow one, but I think that's kind of a bad use of the spell. All right, now that I have 2 masters, though, I will double activate here. Another Vengevine and another Bazaar. So this could just be lethal. If I hit... Am I going to go all in, though? I don't really want to go all in. I think I'm going to keep the Dread Return in hand for... I mean, I don't want them to draw Ancestral, though. Maybe I just don't need a third Bazaar. I'm going to keep the Dread Return in hand so I can Sickening Shoal a Frog and successfully Sickening Shoal a Frog. That's my theory here. I don't have any Poxwalkers, so these therapies not doing anything. What a weird game. All right. Still 1 card in my opponent's hand. I'm at... Every Master Death is a life, but I don't think that should matter very much here. Another therapy. Master, therapy to the yard. Wasteland Strip Mine are great. I'm going to... Do I need 2, though? I don't think I need 2. So I think I'm going to leave 1. So they have Leylines and Tabernacles in their sideboard. That's quite a lot. That is a lot. What'd they draw here? Another Leyline. Wow. All right. I don't need to kill this Tabernacle until the end of their next turn anyways, right? So I can just wait. This is probably my last turn of being able to do things. There's a Vengevine that can't be brought back. How many? I have 4 Root Wallas left. Grief. Okay, Grief is 1. But I could just Vigor the ley line on the upkeep. That's probably better. So I think what I'll do is I'll pitch Grief and pitch Dread Return and Sickening Shoal. Do I want to keep Misstep? Maybe I want to keep Grief. I'm going to still be able to pitch these Master of Deaths after I kill this, assuming that doesn't get countered. Okay. I think I'm going to keep Mental Misstep. Okay, I'm going to go to their upkeep. And then I'm going to Vigor the ley line. And then I'm going to activate. That's a Root Walla and a Bridge. I'm going to hold the Root Walla for the next turn. At 11. Okay. I mean, if I can ever trigger these Vengevines, they die, right? So maybe I should have held the Grief instead of the Misstep. I feel like I should be able to find... Ah, that was enough! So if I Noxious back a... Oh, I can... Sorry. Messed that one up. I immediately drew another Root Walla. These just need to be cast to trigger Vengevine, so should be enough. Didn't even need the Strip Mine the Tabernacle. I don't really know if I played this very well. I think I had some spots that could have gone differently. Triple Vengevine. So let's start by therapying my opponent off of this Root Walla. I think they'll just concede to this. But we can do that, and then therapy away whatever cards they have, and then play an Atraxa. Get a Force. All right, we did the thing once. It took forever, though. We couldn't find any action. There have ley lines. Then I want to bring in all my Vigors. For sure. Let's go down on a therapy. A rainy Monday. I kind of feel lucky to win that game. We went back and forth for a while, and obviously I was using the Master of Death, but it wasn't like very great. Didn't push very hard. I guess there was a Tabernacle, which saved, it wiped out some of the things, but I guess if there wasn't a Tabernacle, we would have kept the probably wouldn't have gone for the Dread Return, and we would have kept the Vengevine Hollow one in play, and that would have been enough, so. All right. Can we sneak a win versus Lurrus Frog? Seems unlikely. But never give up hope. Anyone can win any match. You just have to believe in the heart of the cards, something like that. My opponent is choosing whether or not to mulligan. They have mulliganed. I'm going to mulligan. Wait, I'm going to mulligan. They're on 5. I'm on 5. Wow. Okay. It's not good. Seems like they're being pretty aggressive mulliganing to Leyline, which I guess makes sense if you're going to put Leyline in your sideboard of your Lurrus deck. I'm not sure. I used to think that that was a pretty good thing to do, but now that I've played a lot more of the Lurrus decks versus Dredge and those kind of things, I'm not sure I vibe with that anymore. I don't know if I would even play the Leyline. I kind of feel that just like having enough Soul Guide Lanterns and Jailers and stuff is good enough. Like the list we played against last round was probably more, or the other round is probably more like this with like 2 Torment Scripts, a Tabernacle, a Grafdigger's Cage, a Yixid Jailer. I think, and even a Ravenous Trap. I think that's maybe a better approach. But Leyline is like the de facto best Dredge answer, so I understand the idea. I also can't seem to find a Bazaar. I'm on 2. I'm on 1. I'm on Powder. All right. GG's. That's what you get when you do bizarre things. All right, here we go. 5th and final round of this experimental CounterVine League. It has gone abysmally, which is kind of what I thought it would be, but the good news is, after you watch this, you will not be tempted to play whatever the hell's going on here. We are stuck on my opponent, so it means they're going to be revealing a cat. I was holding the... Ooh, a 7-card keep. Maybe this is my chance. I have a Vengevine on turn 1, finally. Okay, hold up. Wait a minute. I've got a Vengevine on turn 1. I've got a Bridge Therapy. I've got Grief returning. Oh my god, what a hand. Maybe our deck is finally here to play the game. I'm ready. I'm down. Let's battle. Bazaar, activate. Double Root Walla as well. I do want... I don't think I'm actually going to bring back... I don't think I want to put the Root Wallas in play. I feel like Therapy Bridge is even better. Though I could go past... yeah, I think Therapy Bridge is better. I guess this can get forced, in which case I won't be therapying unless I use my hollow one. Or my Vengevine, I guess. I could use my Vengevine for therapy because I have 2 Root Wallas for next turn. Ooh, wait a second. We're cooking. Ancestral Mox Trainer. Love that for me. That's a scary hand, though. All right, I'm going to take the Ancestral. I'm going to play a hollow one. Turn a Vengevine. Attack with Vengevine. And then I'm going to therapy the trainer and hope they don't draw a Paradoxical Outcome. Thunder Trap Trainer. All right, a nice little double interaction start. Leaving my opponent with just a pile of Moxen. And we have additional 8 power, an additional 4 power. Ruby, Pearl, Jets. By Lurrus. You drew PO? Fucking hell. All right, and this is why you want to have forces in your deck and not griefs. That's unfortunate. Now they get to buy and play Lurrus. Oh, yeah, all right. I thought I was winning. My bad. My bad. Gotta love a Moxon start. All right, well, Poxwalkers. That's pretty good, too. Oh, a second Vengevine. Is that enough? Guess we're gonna find out together. I guess I'm not... if I can't do Poxwalkers because I need 2 spells to return Vengevine, so... Alright. This guy, Vengevine, Vengevine. It would be lethal if they didn't have the Lurrus. It'd be exactly lethal. So they do have to block with the Lurrus. Probably block a zombie token to get rid of my bridge. But they do have to combo kill me on the next turn here. Or sure, this works as well. But this means that I can still get a zombie at least. All right, combo kill me. If we win this game after my opponent ripped the PO, wow, they must have just bricked. Damn, okay, I'll take that. I thought for sure we had gotten PO'd, but PO for 3 does not win the game. No matter what a random Italian mod might tell you. This one we need to keep in forces. But we can get rid of Noxious this time. I want to keep in Chalice at all points. I'm probably going to trim on the Dread Return. And I'll probably trim on the Strip Mine. You can have a Saga, but they're kind of unlikely to have a Tabernacle in the current builds. So let's try this. I did not bring in Sickening Shoal. Hopefully that doesn't matter. Okay, a 7-card keep with two Vengevines in a turn 1. Okay. Wait, maybe my deck is actually good. The key is mulligan less. Was the key the whole time I need to simply keep a 7-card Bizarre hand every game? Might have been. Hard to say. Ancestral is a good one. Back up to 7. I currently need to pitch exactly the cards that I do have. So I won't be able to gain extreme value. Ooh, I like that though. So Vine, Root Walla, Hollow One. Chalice on 0. Attack for 8. Lethal on the table. Is it enough? I mean, we finally got our 7-card good card keeps. And they didn't really have much to do. I mean, last round, it was kind of the nice therapy stuff. And my opponent is not happy about the decent draws we had, which is fair. I don't blame them. 7-card double Vengevine, 7-card double activate. This is a Swords to Live. I have a mental misstep because they didn't Swords on their turn. I guess they were playing around negation. Probably supposed to Swords on upkeep though. Yeah. Maybe I'm supposed to wait till post-combat. I feel like I was supposed to try to find a mental misstep, but I already had a mental misstep. So I'm probably supposed to wait till, like, they activate. I think I'd rather attack all before therapying. We know what's in their hand. I guess we could therapy and name Force of Will or mental misstep or something. Yeah. I guess that's something I could have did. But then I'm losing a damage. I don't know. I think I'd rather just attack, have misstep for swords, and then therapy like Flame of Anor post combat with the Rootwalla. Something that gets rid of the chalice so they can try to win the game. Yeah. Okay. So we went 2-3. We really hollow vined them, countervined them there. Just the classic Rootwalla's vines and hollow ones. So how do I feel about this deck? I think this deck is not very good, but I don't think this deck is like so much worse than normal countervine. I also think just like normal countervine is not very good. Like if you're gonna play against Lurrus control, you just don't want to be on this deck. Did our deck make for a better matchup versus Lurrus control? Is probably a reasonable question to ask, and I'm not convinced, but theoretically it's possible because you have the ability to get rid of your blue cards easier and have more things to board in, maybe. Let me see. So you lose out on Squeeze, so you have a worse draw engine. You lose out on main deck Wastelands, which don't matter that much. You lost out on the 4 main deck Noxious, which I think is a big deal. And I think the counter suite's a lot worse not having Mindbreak Trap. I think Mindbreak Trap's nuts. But you do give yourself some options here with Grief and Bridges. I assume that this matchup, this configuration should help you versus Lurrus control. It just didn't feel like it mattered because the end-all be-all is still Wasteland. You don't have like enough ways to put cards in the yard to like do things. So if I were to play this deck again, I would add the 1 Golgari Grave Troll almost assuredly. And then you do have the 4 Noxious in the 75, so maybe that's enough, but I'm not sure. Overall, though, I still don't feel like CounterVine is in a place where it can beat a dedicated Wasteland deck like Lurrus Frog. When you try to do that, try to beat that, you end up making your deck so much worse against like things like Jewel and combo that you're supposed to be, very good against. So that's how I feel. Let me know in the comments if you agree. This is a cool innovation on the deck. It's something that I haven't seen in a long time. I do believe there was a point where I saw Dread Returns in this deck, but maybe not since the Poxwalker's printing. And the Poxwalker's printing is pretty important. That being said, I do think like Grief Cabal Therapy can be a good interaction engine. It's just like a lot less reliable than just having 4 Negation, 4 Force of Will, and some Mindbreak Traps. I really missed Mindbreak Trap for sure. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this off-stream recording. If you are not already subscribed to the channel, consider doing that. It's a free way you can help support the channel. Make sure you see the videos that come out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll see you then.